Tales of Veldrith. Book 3, The Quest of the Seeress.
Episode 31. The Seeress's Price.
The northern winds howled through the frost-bitten canyons as Yrsa trudged up the icy slope once more, her fingers raw despite the thick fur gloves. Behind her, the Eye of Eldryn pulsed faintly within its wrappings, the ancient artifact heavier than its size should allow. It had taken everything, her strength, the lives of good crew, and her own faith, to retrieve it. And now, with the labyrinth behind her and the Guardian defeated, she returned to the cave of Yrsa, the Seeress who had set this impossible task in motion. Snow crunched beneath her boots. The breath in her lungs came sharp and fast, but she didn't slow. She knew the way now. The northern lights shimmered overhead like a river of spirits watching from above. Around her, the ley lines thrummed with energy, disturbed but not broken, like harpstrings still vibrating after a violent chord. At last the cave came into view. Bone charms swayed in the wind above its entrance, whispering to one another in their silent language. The runes carved into the stone pulsed with light as Yrsa approached, recognizing her presence. Inside, the cave was unchanged. Yrsa sat in her circle of stones, her milky eyes lifted as if she had been expecting her visitor all along.
"You have returned,"
the Seeress rasped, voice like the wind through dead branches. Yrsa pulled the Eye of Eldryn from her satchel and unwrapped it slowly. The crystal orb flickered with internal light, shadows and stars swirling beneath its surface. She stepped forward and placed it reverently in Yrsa's outstretched hands.
I held up my end of the bargain,
Yrsa said, her voice tight with weariness.
Now tell me what you know of Vest in us.
Yrsa's fingers curled around the orb, her eyes fluttered shut as if the weight of the object drew her inward. The runes around the chamber pulsed in time with the eye, casting strange reflections against the cave walls. For a long moment, Yrsa said nothing. Then she opened her eyes and whispered,
"The fallen one walks the path of shadow and flame. His fate is written in the stars, but his heart may yet break the chains of destiny. Seek the threshold of worlds, where the living meet the void. There you will find him."
Yrsa stared at her, trying to understand.
What does that mean? Is he alive? Held captive?
Yrsa tilted her head.
Vestinus still draws breath, but he is not whole. The ley lines bind him to something older than you know. He is a thread caught between worlds, woven into the fate of all things.
The threshold of worlds,
Yrsa repeated.
That's a myth. A tale told to children.
Myths are the scars of truth.
Yrsa replied.
The place exists, a realm between life and what lies beyond. If you wish to reach it, you must go where few have dared. The ley lines will show the way, but you must listen. Trust your blood.
Yrsa stepped back, overwhelmed. This was no longer just about a friend lost in battle. It was about fate and balance and powers far older than she had ever imagined. Vestinus was tied to something immense, and so now was she. Yrsa rose slowly, the eye still cradled in her hands.
You have taken your first steps across a vast and broken bridge, Seeress. Do not falter.
Seeress.
Yrsa blinked. The old woman smiled faintly.
You carry the sight, though you do not yet know how to use it. It is your curse and your gift. The ley lines chose you for this.
Yrsa backed toward the cave's entrance, her heart racing. She had her answer, or part of it at least, but she also had a new burden, a destiny not yet understood. Outside, the wind had died. The sky blazed with stars. She stood for a moment, staring into the heavens, thinking of the threshold of worlds, of flames and shadows, of chains waiting to be broken, and of Vestinus.
Hold on,
she whispered.
I'm coming.
Thank you for listening to The Tales of Veldrith. Books 1 and 2 are now available in paperback and on Kindle. Visit mattytaylor.com for more details.